Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Now, it being the third week of August, things are really starting to change, let alone when you're talking about fishing. But we got bow season that's starting up. We've got dove season that's starting up. We've got all kinds of different options. In the next 2 weeks, things are really going to open up, and I'm excited about it. It's not that I don't want to go fishing, but I can tell you by the time I get into August, my mind is thinking of duck blinds and woods. But hey, if you watched the show for last 17 plus years, you already know that. But the fishing is going to improve. It is just that time of year. The hard part is that there are closures that are all over, up and down, from zone 1 through zone 5 on the Columbia, that's Bonneville and down basically. What is and isn't open, what species is and isn't open. So I keep stressing this because I get asked to do so by law enforcement to remind everyone, you need to make sure of what's going on and keep the barbs pinched down. They are absolutely, and I hate it just like everybody else does. It's one of the stupidest rules that was forced upon us back in 2012, and yet we're still doing it. But the other side isn't doing anything that they agreed to do. Sounds familiar. But anyway, it's certainly something that's frustrating, but just keep up with the regs, keep your hooks pinched, and you'll be good. Because they love making money for nothing. I mean, that's just one man's opinion. But overall, my experience this week, got out on the Columbia. Actually, first thing I noticed was that the grass wasn't that bad. I was in the dead zone out of Chinook Landing, just to give you a good idea of the zone I was in, from the I-5 area a long ways up, that whole zone. It was better, right? The week before, the grass was so bad, you couldn't even fish. And that could have been timing, right? Because I was trying to target that bottom of the tide, because it's just that little tiny tide. You'll see that when we get to the river levels here in a bit. Grass wasn't that bad, but I've already got photos this morning from 2 different boats down in the lower area-ish, very close to where Richard was. And since he didn't want to say it, I'm not going to say it either, but down, below, down there, where it's very, very popular. The grass has been horrible this morning, just huge mats of just grass. We actually got a report this past week from someone that said that they noticed a bunch of play boats up closer towards Bonneville, Rooster Rock, Beacon Rock area, running around up there. And there's a lot of shallows, if you know the area at all. A lot of play boats, meaning like wake boats and folks just out playing, not necessarily fishing, just running around and burning fuel, which is fine. I mean, if that's what you're into, good for you. But he had mentioned that he would have thought that would have caused a lot of grass. Very well could, don't know, but you can't really put that in any one user group. It's just that time of year. Again, overall, fishing was terrible. While I was out there, I never saw a fish get caught. I fished for 6 hours around quite a few boats. I never saw a fish caught. I never marked but one on my electronics. I'm gonna tell you right now, that Ray Marine, the Axiom 2 Pro, in the right setting is incredible. I mean, you will literally see the fish down there. It's not like forward-facing sonar, but you go over them, that's a fish. I mean, it's not just this little bar. You know the difference. Marked one the entire day. It was brutal. Now, I'm not going to put everything on the kill nets the night before. We catch a lot of fish days right after the kill nets are in. It just, for whatever reason, never saw a fish get caught. When I left the boat launch at 2 o'clock, because it was starting to get hot, Fish Checker had 1 fish for 26 boats. So that's not very good. Not very good at all, but that will improve. And we will start to see days where you get 10, 15,000 fish, maybe even more, going underneath your boat and only seeing a handful of fish get caught because of the temperatures. At one point in time, I had 72 degrees on my Axiom. I had 72 degrees, for crying out loud. That's bathwater. Hopefully that'll start to change. That's when you will start to see more of a migration over the dam itself. But let's go ahead and get to the, oh wait, can't forget, Ryan, our producer here at Outdoor GPS, best producer I've ever had, was out fishing out of Ilwaco. You were on a charter boat, is that right, Ryan? Which one was it, do you remember? Sea Breeze, say that fast, Sea Breeze Charters is who he was with. They went out bottom fishing out of Ilwaco. Beautiful. Little artsy-fartsy photo for you there, Ryan. I love it. I love the background. And they were bottom fishing. It was the day after they closed the ocean, and so they didn't do any salmon fishing. But it looks like you guys got all your bottom fish. Any lingcod or just bass? Just bass. All right. Well, you went out and had some fun, and that's the way it's been. If you've been able to get to the saltwater, tuna fishing has been phenomenal. And before they close, obviously, the Chinook fishing down in the in that particular zone. I can't recall off the top of my head. But there's certainly some things to look forward to in all of the estuary bays. Rivers are going to start to come around. Anyway, Willamette, nothing too exciting here, except I'm watching the numbers going over the falls for Coho. I was asked not to show that, so that's why I'm showing it. You can't have it all to yourself. Okay? It's a big river. Anyway, you will start to notice those numbers go up as the silvers really start to show up in the river. You get that earlier shot. We'll see how things pan out. Taking a look at Bonneville, you can see that the counts for Chinook have gone up. They got up to 4,700. A little bit of a dip here for a number of reasons, but at the very least, temperature is really what's going to determine if these things are going to make their way over and when they're going to make their way over. But steelhead numbers are still holding on, which is good to see. Hopefully that just continues to work out that way. River levels we'll get through quickly. Just vertical, up and down. Willamette, not a whole lot going on there, but things will kind of get interesting here in the next week or two. Primarily talking about silvers, but the Columbia, you can see how the tides have changed. See this bottom set down here, that little short tide. Now we're starting to get into a different tide set where it's just straight up and straight down, and it is definitely some big tides. That will cause a lot of grass to get into the system. But from what I noticed this week and from reports from others, it just overall seemed to be a little bit better. Not great, but seemed to be better. Procure, don't forget to send Jason an email, jason@procure.com. You'll need this stuff going forward all the way through October, especially if you're fishing along the coast and, for that matter, November, depending on where you like to fish. Certainly a great way to get yourself some free stuff from Procure. As a matter of fact, we're going to talk about a little bit of Procure in just a little bit. Let's check in with Peyton Major and find out what this weather's going to do. And this is terrible. Peyton, first, I'm just going to throw it right out there to you. Triple digits suck. It's just that simple.
Yeah. No, it feels like you're in a constant hair dryer outside. It's not great. In fact, Hood to Coast runners are wrapping up at Seaside right now. I've actually been calling it Hood to Roast because I think this is the hottest Hood to Coast there's probably ever been in the 43-year history. 102 yesterday, and that probably doesn't surprise you. It was the hottest day of 2025. We broke a daily record set back in 1942, and this is becoming more and more frequent. It's our fourth consecutive year with 100 degrees after August 15th. Quick graphic here showing you that the last 5 years we have had at least 4 100-degree days each year. So that's pretty crazy. I wonder if we'll tack on a couple more by the end of this heat stretch. Extreme heat warning is continuing all the way through Tuesday evening for the valleys, the gorge, even into central Oregon. Lows are dangerous, 60 to 70 degrees. That's uncomfortable if you don't have air conditioning. And then you can see the coast and Cascade ranges today through Tuesday morning. Not 100. But still very warm. And I'm afraid to show you these forecast highs. I mean, yeah, it's not great. More triple digits. Today could end up being slightly warmer than yesterday. Kind of depends how those upper level clouds play out. Tonight will definitely be warmer than this morning. We got 90s to 100s in eastern Oregon. It is a dry heat. That's the only positive I can really give you. Dew points are in the 50s. Could be worse. I think last heat wave we had higher dew points. So there's those upper level clouds floating through. No rain. We may see a couple storms in eastern Oregon tomorrow afternoon. And all this is because high pressure is squished. It's really, really intensified in the last few days. And then we'll finally get some relief later on when we finally see this low here. So looking ahead to Labor Day weekend, I do think it'll be cooler. I don't see any triple digits, at least to start. We're looking at more 80s. There's our very gradual cool down, but it's going to take some time. So you want to take this seriously. We do know that this long of a heat wave with this intensity is not common this late into the year. So just hydrate, find that cool place, and yeah, just try to stay away from the direct sunlight in the afternoon. Owin.
Great advice. Drink a lot of water and try to keep cool as best you can, and hopefully it ends quickly. I can't wait until we can get some reports from you, Peyton, when we got a lot of rain, maybe even some snow in the next handful of months. Something completely different.
We'll manifest it.
Thanks, Peyton. We appreciate it. All right, we're going to cut to break. When we come back, I've got Steve Kuhn from In the Zone Live down in the Astoria area. And I know they've already had some success this morning. We'll see if we can bring that to you live as well. We'll be right back.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear, and by Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, the trusted name of the Pacific Northwest.